Hello, and welcome to the second part of my video series titled Dual Extrusion Mistakes. My name is Mitchell here at Imprint Manufacturing, and our mission was to put this tricolor traffic cone from Thingiverse, a twist on the original, where a third color is added for the base of this cone. Well, without further ado, cue the drum roll. I present to you the tricolor traffic cone. The cone printed in about 40 minutes on our custom printer ImprintX, and I was posting on the community page on Thingiverse where I saw this comment from 2013 from Cam Stuff. He asked, "How do you program for multiple colors?" And then I saw there had been no answer. Well, on the 10-year mark, this video goes out to you, Cam Stuff. I hope you're still printing. Dual colors can be challenging, and we hope to clear things up, or at the very least, you'll be able to print this traffic code.
Nothing working! Wait, SpongeBob! We're not cavemen! We have technology! It didn't work.
Our technology we used was a 3D printer called ImprintX, which is a 3-in-1 extruder, meaning there are 3 filaments that can be used in a single hot end, but not at the same time. There is no mixing chamber, so we have to retract the filament before the next one is used. This can be tricky and even lead to mistakes like shown where a machine throws blobs of filament wherever it pleases. We use Cura to generate our G-code for which our printer is going to use. You must load the 3 files for this traffic cone, and depending on your situations, how you're going to program the 3 layers to what extruder is needed. In my case, I have 3 extruders, so each color gets assigned to the extruder that has the color I want. So black is in 3, and that's going to be yellow and Cura. Orange is 1, and that's going to be red and Cura. And then white is 2, and that's going to be blue and Cura. Then it's how you're going to get your model to look like in one piece again. As you can see now, it's all split up, but if you select all of the pieces, right-click, a menu will appear. Select the option for Merge Models, and this will combine all of the pieces so the model is in one solid piece again. From the model and using a layer height of 0.2 millimeters, I know that the black color will be used from Z equals 0.2 to 2 millimeters, a layer of 1 to 10. Orange is next from Z equals 2.2 to 10, layers 10 to 50. White will follow from Z equals 10.2 to 20, layers 50 to 100. Orange is next from Z equals 20.2 to 30, layers 100 to 150. White is needed for Z equals 30.2 to 40, layers 150 to 200. The last group is orange, and it is from Z equals 40.2 to 50 millimeters, layers 200 to 249. Here's a summary of the colors needed at the associated Z height and layer. So why would you need this information? Well, to modify the G code, you now have a visual aid here to make sure you know where you're modifying the G-code at what Z height and layer. This can be quickly referenced now using this chart. This information is also shown in Cura in the preview view of your model. The preview view will also show you where the color should end and at what layer. If you know the layer, you can calculate your Z height by multiplying it with the layer height you are using. In my case, I know Cura cannot handle a 3-in-1 extruder without a mixing chamber, so I have to edit the G-code. So in the G-code, I'm looking for a tool change, and this is indicated by a T0, T1, or T2 header. Depending on how many extruders you have, I have 3, so I have these 3 values. You can also use the Z height or layer where the color should end, so you can search also by these values. In my case, I have to add some lines of G-code and remove some others to clean up the action. When my printer finishes the first color of black, I need it to go home and retract the black filament, load the next color, and then home itself again. Then the printer will resume the print. So the common G-code that I use are G0 and G1, which is rapid and linear move. You can use these values with the X, Y, Z value you need to go to on that axis. You can also use this to extrude and retract using the G1 command. 4 is dwell, and you can pause your machine in seconds or milliseconds. I like to use this in case something happens and a manual pause is needed. G28, which is used to home a specific axis. I just use X and Y here, and if I didn't put those values, it would home all of them. At the end of a tool change, I have to retract the old filament before the start of a new tool. So then I also have to extrude the next filament through. The values you need are based on your machine settings and the extruder, so it's going to be different for everybody. I know what works for my machine, and I put those here. I also put a homing command to move away from the print layer we just printed to prevent any blobs from being extruded on the print. I also used the dwell command to allow me time to manually pause the machine if something horrible happens. That's how I did this, but most of you guys are probably looking at me like we're not you, and that's why I also summarized how you can print this traffic cone. So I summarized this graphic for you if you're using dual extruders, meaning you only have 2 filaments running through your printer. You're going to have to make one tool change from the base to the 3 orange stripes. I would make the base and the 3 orange stripes the same material in Cura. That way you can manually change out the material after the base finishes. So if you're looking at the diagram of the traffic cone at Z equals 2.2, you would need orange and not black. So I would tell the machine to go home using G28 and then pause using G4. And then I would manually pause your machine so you have enough time to swap out the black filament with the orange. Then when the machine begins the next layer at Z equals 2.2, it would be orange and not black. So for a dual extruder, only one swap is required. For a single extruder, you're going to have to manually add some more stops at these layer heights, also shown on the traffic cone diagram. So at Z equals 2.2, Z equals 10.2, Z equals 20.2, Z equals 30.2, and Z equals 40.2, you need to tell the machine to go home, G28, X, Y, you need to insert a dwell G4 command, and then you need to swap out the filament that you're using before the start of this next layer and load the next filament into it. Here's an example of the tool change code that I use for my 3-in-1 printer. This works for my printer specifically, but the logic is here to apply it for the other cases where dual extrusions or only a single extrusion is being used. I would always recommend moving away from the printed material when you are doing a tool change so no blobs are inserted onto your part. So this worked for me. Let me know if you guys print this traffic cone, and I hope to see more traffic cones out there in the wild. Please like and subscribe to our channel and ask us questions.